She wore a dress made of meat, a hat shaped like a telephone, high heels taller than most people's hands. When Lady Gaga stepped onto the red carpet, people stared. Some laughed, some were confused, but no one could ignore her. She was bold, loud, strange, and free. But before all the lights, before the fame, before the music awards and magazine covers, she was just Stephanie Joan Angelina Germanotta. A little girl from New York City. A girl who loved to sing. A girl who didn't look or act like everyone else. At school, Stephanie was not popular. She was not the girl with the best clothes or the coolest friends. People called her names. They made fun of her big nose, her wild clothes, and her dream of being a star. But she didn't stop. She went home every day, sat at the piano, and played 4 hours. She wrote songs in her notebook. She practiced her voice. She believed, deep inside, that one day, the world would listen. Her parents didn't come from money, but they believed in her. They told her, if you work hard, if you believe in yourself, you can do anything. Those words stayed with her. They became her fire, a fire that pushed her through pain, rejection, and fear. A fire that made her stronger. Lady Gaga's story is not just about music. It's about being different and proud of it. It's about falling down and getting back up. It's about taking your pain, your shame, your fear, and turning it into something powerful. She became a voice for people who felt invisible, a light for those in the dark. Her story reminds us that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be normal. You just have to be you. Lady Gaga was not born famous. She was born Stephanie Joan Angelina Germanotta on March 28, 1986, in New York City. Her family was not rich, but they were full of love. Her father worked with computers. Her mother was kind and strong. They taught her to work hard and follow her heart. At home, Stephanie was always singing. She played the piano when she was only 4 years old. She loved artists like David Bowie, Queen, and Madonna. Music was her best friend. In school, she felt like she didn't belong. She was different. She wore strange clothes. She had wild ideas. Other kids called her names and laughed at her. But Stephanie didn't stop dreaming. At 17, she went to a special music school in New York. She studied hard. She wrote songs every day. She performed in small clubs, wearing shiny jackets and crazy shoes. Sometimes only 5 people were in the crowd, but to her, it didn't matter. She sang like she was in front of the whole world. When she was 19, something terrible happened. She was hurt by someone she trusted. It broke her heart. For a long time, she didn't talk about it. She felt afraid and alone. But deep inside, she knew she had to keep going. She said to herself, one day, I will turn my pain into power. And she did. She worked for music companies. She wrote songs for other singers. People liked her voice, but they didn't think she could be a star. They said she was too strange, too theatrical, too much. She was dropped by one label after just 3 months, but again, she didn't give up. She used every no to build her yes. She kept performing, kept writing, kept pushing, and then everything changed. She wrote a song called Just Dance. It was fun, powerful, and different. Radio stations played it again and again. Suddenly, people knew her name. Lady Gaga was born. She wasn't just another pop star. She was a storm of music, fashion, and emotion. With songs like Poker Face, Bad Romance, and Born This Way, she showed the world that being different was beautiful. Lady Gaga created her own world, full of color, sound, and freedom. She called her fans little monsters, and she was their mother monster. She made people feel seen. People who were shy, lonely, or afraid. They looked at her and felt strong. Her concerts were not just music shows. They were places of love, pride, and power. Lady Gaga had it all: the fame, the fans, the money, the music. Her name was known around the world. Every song she released became a hit. Her concerts sold out in minutes. She wore diamonds, walked red carpets, and stood on the biggest stages. But behind all the lights and sound, something was wrong. Deep inside, she was hurting. The truth was, Gaga felt alone. Fame made her feel like she was living in a bubble. Everyone around her wanted something. People didn't always see her as a person. They saw her as an image, a pop star, a brand. But she was still Stephanie inside, a woman with feelings, with fear, with pain. Then came the physical pain. Gaga started to feel sore every day. Her muscles burned, her bones ached. Doctors told her she had fibromyalgia, a disease that causes pain all over the body. Some days, she couldn't get out of bed. Her hands shook, her back hurt. And yet, she was expected to perform, to smile, to be Lady Gaga. She tried to hide it, but it became too much. The world started to notice. When she cancelled a big tour, people asked questions. Gaga decided to stop hiding. She told the truth. In her documentary Gaga, 5'2", the world saw a different side of her. Not the star in makeup and wild outfits, but a woman in tears, holding her body in pain, begging for strength. It was raw, it was real, and it was brave. She also began to speak openly about her mental health. She talked about the trauma she suffered as a teenager. She talked about fear, anxiety, and depression. She said, "It's okay to not be okay." She reminded people that being famous doesn't mean being happy. That even the biggest stars can feel broken. But Gaga didn't stop. She used her pain to help others. She built the Born This Way Foundation, a movement for kindness, mental health, and youth empowerment. She gave speeches about strength, about healing, about love. She sang not just to entertain, but to give people hope. Then, she surprised the world again. She became an actress. In the film A Star Is Born, she played a shy singer who finds her voice. The story felt close to her own life. People saw her raw talent, her emotion, her soul. The movie was a huge success. Her song Shallow touched millions and won her an Oscar. In that moment, Gaga stood on stage, holding her award, tears in her eyes. She said, "It's not about winning. It's about never giving up. If you have a dream, fight for it." Through all the pain, rejection, sickness, and heartbreak, Lady Gaga didn't quit. She rose again and again. And in doing so, she taught the world something powerful. You can be broken and still shine. Lady Gaga is more than a singer. She is more than a star. She is a symbol of courage, a voice for the voiceless, a light for those who feel alone. She once said, "They can't scare me if I scare them first." But the truth is, her power doesn't come from being scary. It comes from being real, from showing the world her scars, from using her pain to build something beautiful. Every song she writes, every show she performs, every time she stands up for others, she reminds us that different is not bad. Different is powerful. Her song Born This Way became more than music. It became a movement. It told people, you don't need to change. You are perfect the way you are. Young people, old people, LGBTQ+ communities, people struggling with their identity. They heard her words and felt strong. Because Lady Gaga didn't just tell them to be brave, she showed them how. She continues to break rules, to make art that matters, to fight for love, truth, and freedom. She's not just a performer. She's a fighter. And in a world that often tells us to hide, to be quiet, to be normal, Lady Gaga shouts, sings, and shines. She teaches us, you can be different, you can be hurt, you can be bold, and still, you can rise. Because in the end, we all have a voice. Unlike Gaga, we can use it, not just to sing, but to change the world. I have 3 special questions for you. 1. Have you ever felt like you didn't fit in? How did you deal with it? 2. What does being brave mean to you? 3. If you could say one thing to Lady Gaga, what would it be?
If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me make more stories for you.